welcome to my new show. It's a brand new show that we've been rolling out little by little. If you remember the first time we ever did this, it was me and my buddy Gavin, who is from Major's Mess Hall podcast, and we kind of did like a just a dry run to see if if it would work out, that kind of thing, and you guys really seem to dig it. So I've been trying to get up some guests and that kind of thing, and I had another guest on the Spotlight on a Spotlight on Amputee series, and that's on this current season that we're in right now. And it's somebody that you guys know and love, and somebody who I wanted to have come back on and talk a little bit more about his career and what he does, and help people, maybe if they want to get into that kind of thing, maybe they can, he can show us a little bit more easier paths to go down versus, the hard routes that we seem to think that it may be. So with that, I want to bring up my buddy, your good buddy, Mr. Kurt Yeager. What's up, brother?
Hey, what's
How
going
you doing,
on?
man? Just
Crushing it,
another
crushing
rainy.
life, man.
Are you?
Yeah, everything's very, very good.
Good deal, man. What are you working on right now?
Well, I just sold a feature film that I wrote, and that one's called The Roach, which is based off of Rhett Bruno's book, The Roach, by the same name. It's a best-selling book that is about a vigilante character who becomes disabled, and then what does he do? How does he deal with it all? And he's pretty rough around the edges. So we're going to raise money for that and go shoot that hopefully in the next year, year and a half. And then I'm writing another script based on this book called Commune by this guy Joshua, who's a really great writer. It's a post-apocalyptic world. So I'm starting to write that. I'm on book 4 right now, so I'll read all 7 books and then start writing. Um, Acting, I just shot a couple episodes for Dr. Odyssey, which aired this last week, I think. Um, then a buddy of mine called me and was like, "Hey, you want to be in a stupid commercial?" And I was like, "What kind of stupid commercial?" And he's like, "Well, it's this guy named Sweet James, and he's like a lawyer, and he's crazy." And I go, "Absolutely." So I went and did this goofy
Of
commercial with this
course.
dude who's like I'll do stupid jobs because they're really fun. Um, and then I shot an episode of this show called Alert on Fox, which will be airing in like 5 weeks, I think, 4 or 5 weeks.
Nice.
Yeah.
Is Stupid James the character that I saw where you had on the blue shirt and the tie and like the really thick mustache and kind of look like a bowl cut? Like you look like
No,
somebody
no,
out of like Office
that
Space.
one, no, that one is a movie called Flash Before the Bang, and I'm playing like a superintendent of a school district, and I'm a complete prick. But yeah,
I
I'm
got
totally
you.
like the Office Space. Like, hey, where's my TPS reports?
Yeah,
Um,
that's exactly the feel. Like, I
yeah,
just saw a picture of it. I didn't know what it was from, but yeah, you posted a picture. You're just standing like you got your shoulders all tight. You're kind of standing at attention. I'm like,
yeah,
what in the
yeah.
hell am I looking at? Like, what is this from?
Oh man, he was such a goofy character. Like he had a goofy voice, and he was just a creeper. And I got to work with Kevin James. By the way, he's just a lovely human, like just a good dude. So like, if
He
anyone ever
seems like he
talks shit
would be.
about him, nah, he's a good dude. Like he was the best. Um, and I kept making him break character with that character I was playing because I just came in and was like, "Hey, buddy, what are you doing there, guy?" Yeah, I was like just so creepy. Um, anyways, that's Flash Before the Bang. That movie is still filming, so that'll probably come out next year sometime.
Very cool. Yeah, I'm stoked to see that. That'll be pretty damn funny because yeah, just seeing that character alone, just seeing the picture of the character alone was pretty funny. I'll try to
Yeah,
find that if I get Kurt's permission, and I'll
yeah,
post that
yeah.
to my
Put up
community
anything. I
post.
don't care.
Okay, all right, cool. Well, then yeah, I'll post it to my community post. Y'all can see what I'm talking about. But yeah, it's absolutely hilarious, and
Yeah, man.
I'm
Anyone wants to pull anything off my Instagram and tag me, have at it, man. I need to get to like 50,000 followers, so whoever wants to use whatever, I don't care. I don't give a shit, man. Like,
right on. That's what we love about you, man. I mean, yeah, that's why I was just like, you've always been so easy to work with, and I always love that about you.
Yeah, well, I grew up, in a very, very working class, rough neighborhood, and so you don't have a stick up your ass. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you're a normal person first, right?
Well, last time we were talking about fighting in slides, so you gotta
Yeah.
go out the house and you can't go out in the house with slides.
Yep. Exactly. I love it.
Right on.
So you want to
Well,
get into acting, huh? Do you want to do that? What do you want to do? You want to try some? Your audience wants to try some acting?
I personally would love it. But I mean, again, let me turn this off. I got a monitor behind me too. It kept coming through on the green screen. But I personally would love, love, love to get into it and fix my screen. There we go. But again, much like everybody else in the acting world, or in the real world out here, I should say, and much like yourself, I'm sure you don't know what the first thing to do. How do you get into it? What do you do?
Yeah.
So I've actually have just question on top of question for
Yeah.
my buddy Kurt about how a person would go about doing that.
Yeah. Well, where do you live? What city?
Nashville, Tennessee.
Yeah, Nashville. All right. So there's plenty of productions being done in Nashville, and if the best way to start is just like any hobby, right? You just kind of go, you just start. And by that I mean, like, let's say if it was another hobby, right? Motorcycles. You'd be like, okay, well, what do I do? What do I have to get a motorcycles license? Well, I have to get a permit. So let me study the book and go get a permit, and then maybe someone's got a bike I could borrow. I'll take a class or something, and then oh, I like this, so let me buy one. And then you buy a cheap, cruddy motorcycle, hopefully, and just ride it around and go like, "Oh, I like this," and then you upgrade and upgrade and upgrade, and then you get gear. You kinda just slowly get better and better at what you're doing on a motorcycle, whether it's
Hmm.
riding further or getting better motorcycle itself or starting to race or doing track days or something. In acting, it's the same thing. You just kinda go, "Okay, well, how do I start?" I mean, you could go on Craigslist or any probably Facebook forums that are Nashville actors, and there's probably some free uh gigs. You won't get paid, but it's like, hey, we're gonna do a zombie movie, and can you audition for this? And you're like, yeah, and you just put yourself on your phone, press record, and read some sides that they give you. So it's just finding anything to do, and it's at a hobby level in the beginning because you're like, let me just see if I even like doing it. Let me see if I like being on set. Let me see if I like
Hmm.
sitting around for 14 hours before I even get to say a word, and like kind of figuring that out. Um, then while you're trying to find some jobs here and there, you should read every book on the subject. Like read a couple books on acting, read a couple books on writing, a couple books on directing, and just kind of fumble around through it. And this day and age, I mean, your iPhone is good enough that you could shoot a short film just using your iPhone. It won't
Yeah.
be very good, but you could write in a short film. You got to remember, a short film is 5 pages, 5 minutes long, right? And 5 pages on a script, it's it's pretty short. You could just come up with a story, any story, like a comedy of errors, and everything just falls apart with this one person's life. So you just write 5 pages, have a beginning, middle, and end, and then film it, and then learn how to edit. That's kind of how I started. Just like I wanted to know everything about the business, uh,
Okay.
writing, directing, producing, acting, what an agent
So
does.
just really, really, really studied the craft as a whole before even getting too far into it and jumping feet first into both sides.
I mean, like it's more like reading books on the subject is sort of like the very big. It's like learning the ABCs, right? You're just learning the language. So you're not trying to like, do I want to be an actor? You're like, let me read how do I know where to stand? How do I
Yeah.
know how to move? What do I do on camera? How do I act natural? What is natural? What is my natural? What's my normal voice? Like, is my normal voice down here? You know, is it up here? Like, am I talking like this all the time? You know what I mean? Like, it depends on your attitude and sort of uh, how you think of things, and it's like discovering that about it. But I would say you could
Okay.
jump in if you wanted to just go on Craigslist and look for a job and try to apply and uh, you know, uh, like an acting gig. And by applying, I mean you just say, "Hey, I want to audition for your film," and someone says, "Okay," or "No." And you need a headshot. Well, a headshot just shows them what you look like. So you could just like right now you could screenshot what I me doing this.
Yeah.
That's good enough, just well, no hat, right? Just like there's some hair. And they go, oh, okay, that's the guy. Yeah, he looks good enough. Let's have him audition for this character, Doug. And then
Okay.
you just start like figuring it out. It's really people think of like, well, how do I even get in acting? I can't move to LA, right? And it's
Yeah,
because it's a
exactly.
big idea. But I didn't. My first job was in San Francisco, right? It wasn't even in LA. It wasn't even nothing. And most people get their start in like theater, local theater, high school, college, theatrical classes. Like, I'm sure
Right.
that whatever college you guys got there, there's a theatrical arts program. So you could
Okay.
just take one unit at the college as an in-state tuition at the state university for a couple $100 and take a, freshman level acting class, or at least a
They'll kind
film
of give you
appreciation
the
class.
they'll
Yeah.
kind of bring you up to speed on the basics of lingo and everything because I mean
Yeah.
there's a lot I would imagine it's an entire world, you know. I mean just much like anything else, the construction world, the BMX world, the YouTube world, the music world, you know, I mean it
Mhm.
has its own everything, you know, its own equipment, its own dialogue, its own terms for everything, you know, that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I think it would be a lot to just jump in and cause you're gonna. I'm assuming me personally would kind of
Yep.
wander around on set and just be like, "What the hell's going on? Where do I need to go? What do I need to do? Where do I need to stand?" You know, I mean, I'd be nervous as hell, just straight up. And I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie. I mean,
Well,
um,
dude, I'm still nervous. Like, I
yeah. I
just
mean,
worked
I
with
get it
Don
too.
Johnson, and I was like, "That's Don Johnson." You know what I mean? I was like, "Oh, it's like Miami Vice. Oh, fucking, this
Yeah.
guy's bad." Like, that was
Be
awesome. That was
calling him
Don
Tubbs the
Johnson.
whole time.
Yeah, yeah. And like,
But no,
no, it
wait,
wasn't
Tubbs
Tubbs.
was the
Tubbs
other
was the
dude.
other character. He was the
Yeah, yeah,
black
yeah.
dude.
Crockett. Sorry, my bad.
Crockett, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, my
Sonny
bad, my
Crockett,
bad.
right?
Yeah. Sorry, Don
Sonny
Johnson.
Crockett.
I know you're watching this. My
Yeah,
bad.
Don Johnson's watching. Yeah, he's mad. Sorry, Donnie. Um, no, but like you got to remember you're not gonna audition for a major motion picture and then book it and then be on set and look like an idiot. You're gonna go audition for some dude who's in Nashville who's like, let's do a free movie. Let's try and make one like Blair Witch Project. And they're
Yeah.
just, probably they're probably college students. So, you know, you're just gonna be around a bunch of people who don't know what the hell they're doing, and you're all together. Like no one knows what they're doing, for the most part. And so I think that, I mean, like, what's here? I'll even do this while we're talking. What's a state school in Nashville?
Let's see, Belmont University. Oh no, wait. We'll just
Belmont.
say here in Nashville would probably
Yeah.
be Vanderbilt University.
Is that like a state school, or is that like isn't Vanderbilt like one of the in an Ivy League, or is it?
Oh yeah, yeah. You're right. You're right. It is. So we would have
Uh,
probably Tennessee State University. So TSU. Yeah, it'd be Tennessee State University.
Here, I'll even go to Nashville State Community College.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, let's even look at this areas of study. So, blah 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 blah. Right, I'm even going down. Let's see, because like like let me look at. I'm gonna type in acting. Right. Acting. Boom. Uh, Let me type in theater. Maybe I have a theater class. Theater. I like doing stuff like this because it's like we're doing it together, right? We're like figuring it out.
For sure,
If
for
there's
sure. That's
something
that's
that
why.
this,
Again, that's why I wanted to talk to you personally. Because I mean, you know all about this stuff, so been doing it
yeah.
for a long time. And
I
from
mean, like,
somebody who started riding a bike, who's now acting, so
yeah.
that's awesome.
Uh, so they have like join Nashville State English Program faculty for an evening of poetry and fiction. Like that's the art and humanities. Like that's just one thing. It's not quite acting, but it says, you know, uh, art and humanities. So if I do that, maybe I can type in humanities. Like, seeing that's like trying to figure out what the right term is to even look for. Culinary arts, critical thinking, school of arts. Let's click
Oh
on
yeah, it's
school
gonna
of
bring up
arts.
everything like that because they put
Art,
arts on
music,
the end of everything.
visual. Yeah, so they have an art program, a music program, music technology, photography, visual studies, general studies. I don't see anything acting at this school. Let me go back. Let me go back to Google. Watch. This is why it's good.
Here,
So I go
Greg the Peg
Nashville.
got a shout out.
Yo, Greg the Pig always wore his hat backwards.
Oh yeah, that's why I do, man. No, I'm just kidding. I'll tell you the reason, like why I not why I started doing it, but somebody who and a lot of people say, yeah, I see that is Kevin Smith. When I have,
Yeah.
especially when I have facial hair and stuff, they're like, okay, yep, I get that.
Well, now
It's
that
like,
Kevin lost all that weight, I see it for sure.
yeah, well, yeah, he
So
had the fat teddy bear face for a while.
there's a Nashville Theater School that's down on Page Road. Then there's Nashville Acting Studio, Dominican Drive.
That's down the road from
Uh,
us.
yeah, the Fourth Wall Acting Studio, 1703 Joe Johnson Avenue.
Yep.
Um, Actors Bridge Ensemble, Nashville. There's like, yeah, I just typed in Nashville theater classes, and like 10 things have already popped up. So that's how
Right.
easy it is. It's like, all right, let's take one class at all of them and see which one I like. Because I went to acting classes, and I'm telling you, man, I'm not an easy person to please. And I was
Yeah.
like, "Man, this sucks. This sucks bad. I don't wanna be here." And then I went to another one, I'm like, "This one sucks worse." Like, you know what I mean? I was like, "What is all this crap?" But I was, like, just really not liking the methodology for how a lot of the acting teachers teach.
Yeah.
I wanted, like, real grounded, real acting stuff. Like, teach me the core things. So, but, I went to classes in San Francisco. I went to casting director classes. I read books on the subject. I mean, if you type in acting book right now, you'll see 25 books and it'll be impossible. And some of them are like Meisner technique or Stanislavski, um, the method. There's like a bunch of different schools of thought, and I really didn't like any of them, but I still read all the books. And I took little
Okay.
pieces. I didn't fall into one particular class of acting. I was just like, "Oh, I like that idea, but I don't like the rest. And let me take some of this and take some of that." It's just like if you were making a custom car, right? Like if you wanted to make like a 1964 Galaxy 500 XL and you didn't want the original rims, you'd be putting your rims on it. You're like,
Right.
and someone who's like a purist would be like, "Oh, you can't. You have to put the real rims on there." You're like, "I don't care. It's my car."
Absolutely. You got to make it your own, man. I'm like that with
Yeah,
everything I own.
yeah.
It's got to become fit for me.
Yeah. So
Yeah, absolutely. You're like that with
that
your
like
bike too.
yeah, exactly. Like I'm picky about my bike. Um, Motorcycle too, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just the way it is. There's a lot of the studio for acting, Nashville. So there's classes all over the place. Like that would be something really interesting to do. You could look up
Okay.
those kind of
So
classes and see. Yeah, go. What were you saying?
no, I was just gonna say. So basically, for a person, what if say if like a person lived in like a rural area, something like that? Is there still like auditions and that kind of thing you can do from like from your computer and that kind of thing?
Yeah, a lot of auditions now are self-tape. So you put yourself on camera, get some lights, and then do the audition. Um,
Okay.
so a lot of them that way. But a lot of commercial auditions, they want you to come in because a lot of times, you know, the client wants to see what you look like and your acting. But a lot of times they just want to see if you're an okay person. Because from an audition, you can see that the acting might be good, but in real life, I might be a prick. So who wants to work with a prick? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so they want to see. Like, I've heard of like clients sitting in the audition room waiting to go in with the actors to just see their vibe, and they're just sitting and watching the other people in the room, and you didn't even know they were the client. They're just seeing if you were a decent person.
Okay. I got you. Um. Wow. Okay. So yeah, in the event, like say you do live in, whatever, middle of Idaho in a
Mhm.
cornfield, and they do say, "Wow, this dude, this guy Kurt, man, I really dig what he's doing." Is it still up to you? Like, if they do call you and was like, "Hey, we would like to see you in LA, how's next week sometime, something like that, just to kind of do a reading for us, a more in person kind of thing." Is it up to you to get to LA, or would they
Oh yeah.
typically?
No,
Oh
they
wow,
don't pay
okay,
you. No, you don't get. Yeah, I was in San Francisco auditioning. Um, in San Francisco, and then I'd get an audition in Los Angeles, and I would drive from San Francisco to Los Angeles, go to the audition, and it's about a 6-hour drive. And I drive for 6 hours, and then go to the audition, wait in the room with like 10 other dudes for like 20 minutes before it's my turn, go in, do my 3-minute audition, leave, get back in my car, and drive 6 hours home.
hmm. Did you
Yeah.
get it? I mean, is it still?
I got a couple, yeah, yeah.
Well,
That was
okay.
my
I
first
mean,
big show. I did, an episode of Without a Trace. I went in, drove down from San Francisco, 6 hours, left at, like, 4 in the morning. I could get there at, like, noonish, so I had, like, an hour to kill before I had to go to the audition. Did the
I
audition,
got
was,
you.
like, very serious scene, and then they're like, "That was really good, thank you." And I was walking out to my car, and they ran, and caught me and said, "Hey, can you read for this other character?" And I was like, "Yeah." So I did, and
Of course I
it was
can.
yeah, it was, like, a funny guy, and he was super nice, and I was like, "Alright, let's do it." And I did the scene, and it was a happier character, and then, like, on my way home, I got a call, and they're like, "Yeah, we want you for the role." And I was like, "Sweet." So that was my first LA job. But you would be if you were in the middle of Idaho, like, you would be auditioning for Idaho-related stuff. There's stuff in Idaho, there's stuff in everywhere, even if it's rural.
Yeah, that's true.
Like,
Okay, I didn't think
there's
about
stuff
that.
there's stuff everywhere, but, like, think about it this way, like, remember, what was that movie, Napoleon Dynamite,
Yeah.
right? You remember that movie? I think they
Hmm.
shot it, like, all in Nebraska or Kansas or something, in the
It was
middle of
in
fucking
Kansas.
nowhere. Yeah. So
Yeah.
they wrote it and they filmed it themselves, and it became a huge hit.
I have a friend of mine. He's a touring musician, and he was like, he also has a YouTube channel, and he was just like, I'm standing right. He's like, I'm standing in the middle of the road, and I forgot where he said something in Kansas, and he was just like, what's behind me? is an empty field. He goes, but what once stood behind me was Napoleon Dynamite's house. And there's like, they're
Yeah.
getting ready, they've knocked all of it down and they're getting ready to start building like some kind of shopping center or Dollar General or something right there. And it's just like, oh my God, why? Like, why did you destroy that house? You know, I mean,
Mhm.
it kills me to see stuff like that get knocked down. But at the end of the day, I get it. It's like, it's just a house. I mean, it is what
Yeah.
it is. But I don't know. That kind of stuff always annoyed the hell out of me.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
what is like? I was gonna say, what's your most rewarding role? But what is one of the most like one of the most role like? Oh man, I love when I get to play fill in the blank. You know, like it's not typically just because it's easier or anything like that, but just something that's like, man, it's just these. I really really nail. You know, like a soldier or a biker or a whatever. You know.
Uh, I mean, I just like doing different things. Like
Okay.
I wouldn't say like a soldier or a biker is a character. I would say that's like a profession or a hobby, right? Like you could be a nice guy biker. You could be like let's say you're a Hell's Angel biker. Well, what kind of Hell's Angel biker? Like, are
Yeah,
you
that's
an
true.
enforcer or are you a brain? Like, are you the guy that goes out and, you're a nomad and you just take care of business for other people in other parts of the state? Or are you a guy who's like better with people, so you're trying to make your club look a little less 1%, and so you do the toy run? Like, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
there are, are you the one that's like literally in charge of cooking meth out in the middle of nowhere? Like, so it's like, which Hell's Angel character are you? Right? So each one of those
Yeah.
is a different kind of person. Um,
So much
I-
facets to that stuff, man. My
yeah,
God. You always think it's just dudes on motorcycles, and it's like, no, no, there's a lot more to it.
yeah, and they all have to. That's why it's interesting. Like, if like in Sons, for instance, uh, the reason it worked was because all those characters were different. Right? Like, think about it, like, Clay was not like, Jax. Jax was not like Opie. Opie was not like Chibs. Chibs was not like Happy. You know what I mean? Like, they're
Yeah.
all different people, and so it's important to see that even though those were all bikers, they were all different characters. So, for me, I like playing like, really, if I could do comedy all day long, and that's all I could do, that's all I would do, because drama's great and fun, and, I've played contract killers who are nasty and just ruthless and, like, a lot of different, like, brutal characters, but, like, crying and being upset and screaming and, like, being in that kinda angry place all the time, it's really taxing. But comedy,
Yeah.
you're just acting like a fucking idiot, and then at the end of the day, you're like, "That was fun," and then you wake up and do it again, you know?
Yeah.
It's a
Is there
lot it's
any
a
kind
lot
of
nicer.
is there any type of people that like that you would look at like I see a lot of actors like me personally. I'll just give you an example. Um, are very one dimensional. You know, there's a lot of comedian actors out there that'll try to step out and do like something crazy or like a psycho killer or something like that, and it just doesn't work out for them. Like for me, every single movie that Adam Sandler puts out, it's just like Adam Sandler Part 8. You know, I mean,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
Adam Sandler in a different scenario every single time. It's very, very one dimensional. You know, that
yeah.
kind of thing. Do you ever find yourself personally trying to like fight against that and like try to be like really really immerse yourself into whatever John the janitor or whatever, I don't know, the whatever role it is, and just kind of take yourself away from everybody and everything else and just kind of immerse yourself into who this person is? Or do you just kind of when it says action see what happens?
Yeah, I think there's, like, 2 major types of actors. There's, like, character actors, and then there's, like, um, call them leading actors, right? Like a character actor is someone who can literally be a different character. And you're like,
Mm.
oh my gosh, like see how they change so much? Like Tom Cruise is Tom Cruise in everything Tom Cruise does for the most part. Same thing with
Yep.
Adam Sandler and all that, right? It's very rare that there's someone different. Um, but like, remember in Tropic Thunder where Tom Cruise was the fat, balding, uh, crazy fucking agent, right? Like who was
Yeah.
dancing. Like he wasn't Tom Cruise at all. Like that
No.
was actually something fun. Um,
Take a
but
big step back and fuck your own face.
yeah, yeah, exactly. It's just fucking hilarious, right? But like think of that movie, right? That was Ben Stiller, right?
Yep.
So you got Ben Stiller in there being Ben Stiller. But look at what uh
Robert Downey Jr.
thank you, thank you. Yeah, look
Yeah.
at what Robert Downey Jr. did. He was like doing I don't know how he did it, but he did like blackface, but it was like in a movie being blackface. Like and it was so good that like even he was like he did interviews and he was like, "Yeah, most of my black friends were like, this was fucking awesome," even though everyone at the first was like, "I don't know, dude." Yeah,
Yeah.
and it was like that's like a character. He was like a full-on other human.
Yeah.
So that's what I
Absolutely.
like doing. Yeah, I like doing that stuff. I mean, you know, I don't know. I mean, you have to watch some of my stuff to see if it's true or not, but I think that if you watch a TV show I did called Quarry, where I'm a contract killer in the 1970s, or you watch me in like this comedy called The Festival in the UK that we shot in the UK. Like those are two different people. They're not even the same Kurt, you know?
Yeah.
Like I guess they're little versions of me, but they're not me. Like I'm much more uh private, you know? And like if I'm with you, like in an interview like this, talking with you, like I don't give a fuck. Right?
Mhm.
But I'm also not saying everything, you know? Like
Yeah.
when I'm
But it's
done here,
me
people
too.
are
You
like,
can be
"Oh,
more
Kurt."
laid back here. So.
Yeah. Well, like Kurt, you're going to, you're going to a Hollywood party, and I'm like, no, I have to go outside and do some chainsawing because a tree fell. You know what I mean? Like people are like, oh, you're
Yeah.
like a normal dude. I'm like, yeah, I'm like compared to like Hollywood stuff. So I think the fun roles are comedies, and then I think uh, I try to be a different character each role. Um, It's good for acting, but it's bad for work because you don't get as much recognition, like, a lot of people go, "I didn't even know that was you in that." That's great, but it's also bad in a way,
Oh, okay. Okay. So
right?
it's a double-edged sword. I see that. I see that
Yeah.
now.
So Tom might
Wow.
be stuck doing Tom Cruise stuff, but who cares if he's making $40 million a film,
Well, right. Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
That would be nice.
Um, do you ever mess with accents at all? Like, do
Yeah.
you ever do any kind of anything? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like I'm from San Francisco, and everyone thinks that I'm not just because of the way I talk. That has a little bit of a drawl. But if you start talking a little bit like you're down from Dallas and just having a good time, then you just put it over there. Well, you move around North Carolina and just kind of spread it out a little more, and just
That's awesome.
just play around. Then you get up like thinking about like Boston. I'll fuck it up, but I haven't done it in a
A lot
while.
of people say like Boston. That's not. It's Boston. Like,
It's
like
Boston. Yeah, not
everything's Boston.
you fucking start talking like this, guy.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you
Go
can fuck
fuck
like
yourself. All right.
yeah,
Go
go
fuck
fuck
yourself.
yourself. Go eat a bag of fucking dicks. All right, and just go fuck off. Anyways, so what I was saying is like I was talking about fucking
Anyways.
acting. Yeah, and so acting, right? So you see, you just try and like think of the place and the vibe.
What about other countries? Like
Oh
English
shit,
accents.
fucking English accent. But English, you gotta like when you start really looking at an English accent. just like America has a bunch of different accents, so does England, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Like if
absolutely.
you're doing the BBC, right? This is BBC is right here. It's private and proper.
Yeah.
But if you go like and you're
Real
talking
kind
like
of
John
calm. Real
Lennon,
calm.
yeah, right now if you're John Lennon down in Liverpool, well, then it kind of sounds just a little bit longer. You know, it's
Yeah,
like,
My friend Gavin was born and raised in Liverpool. The first person to ever do this show, this new show I'm doing right now, you and me.
yeah,
He's from Liverpool, so he talks a lot like that. Everything ends
right.
on an upward inflection when he talks, you know.
It's like everything's like a
So
fucking question.
yeah,
Like, why
yeah,
you ask? Why you keep asking me questions? Yeah. What do you know what I
yeah.
mean?
Everything, yeah.
And you're like,
So so Kurt, how you doing today?
yeah,
uh, good.
yeah. So yeah, accents, like, but it's also like I'm not like trying to do accents necessarily
Yeah.
until a character comes up, right? Like I've been asked to audition for like Eastern European. One of my first roles, I spoke Farsi, like one of the lines I had was Darsiat Michone, which was like the right way to say the words. Like
Mm.
it hurts too much. And everyone's like, "Oh shit, you speak Farsi?" I'm like, "No, I just learned it phonetically. Like I just learned what to say." Um, but
Yeah, it
also
would be
like
tough
growing up in,
long periods of time too.
well, like, like growing up in a rougher neighborhood, this is not how I spoke in the rougher neighborhood.
Mm.
Like like I'm trying to think of like growing up. It's like, "Yo, what's up, lad? What's up, player? You want some? Like, what's going on? Let's go down the
Yeah,
cuts and see what's up at the bowling alley." Like you
yeah,
just start like getting a little sloppier because if you speak too proper, then you're gonna get your ass kicked, right? So it's
yeah.
like,
Slack jawed, as I say.
yeah, slack jawed or a little bit like the nomenclature. Like you haven't heard me say hella. I say like a lot now. I don't know why. It just makes me pissed off. But Northern California would be like, "Oh yeah, that's hella dope," right? Like, "Oh yeah, that's hella dope. Oh, you go get some fucking nugs. Let's go do 420. Let's go." Right? Like it's like a different world, but there's like subcultures, right? Like I grew up around Filipinos and they speak Tagalog, so they have like a way of speaking, and someone will walk in the room and you're like, "Oh, salamat po," and like, "Oh, wala ka naman," right? And you're like speaking Tagalog to people or Spanish, right? Like if I start speaking Spanish, my voice changes. I'm like, "Hola, cómo estás?" Like, why did I drop an octave? You know? Un cerveza, por favor.
They walk
¿Dónde
away and you're
está
like,
el
why did I do
baño?
that? What the hell?
I turned into
Oh my
like
god.
like someone like some between like a vaquero and Antonio Banderas. Like I drop an octave and I start speaking like this. It's like what the fuck, guy? So there's just different ways that you speak, but
Kurt's
when
done
you're
lost his damn
around
mind,
like
y'all.
when you're around like really uppity people too, you know how like you try to clean up your language a little. You might not drop f bombs, and it's not just like
Oh
in a
yeah,
church. I mean, like there's if you're in a suit and tie, you almost like have a different way of speaking, just a little bit more even and proper.
yeah,
Not too much, just more than what I was just doing, instead of more
yeah,
than what I was just doing.
yeah.
So I think
It's
everyone
just
does a
all in
little bit of
that, you know,
accent play.
straighten your back out, boy. Come on, don't slouch. What are you doing?
Yeah. Oh, I'm a sloucher, man. I don't give a
I
fuck.
am too, 100%. I've been doing it the
Oh,
whole time.
I know. Lean back.
Yeah, see, I grew up, you know, my grandmother is Scottish. She came from Scotland, so I've grown up with I've grown up my whole life hearing to talk like that. So it's just kind of become second nature to be yelled at with this voice. That just because
Yeah.
I've heard that grown up my whole life.
Yeah. Your
so
whole life. Yeah, that's great.
so they say things a whole lot different, and it's instead of saying yes, it's and a
I
lot of grunts and moans and that kind of thing. Um, so yeah, I would do that around other people, and they would just be like where the fuck, where's this dude from? It's just that's my only accent I really know how to do. I mean, a little bit of like the Australian thing, like nar, instead of no, nar,
I can't do that. Nah.
nar.
Nah. Nah.
It's
Every time
just
I
like,
hear that, I'm like, oh, it's so gross.
yeah, nar, nar.
Nah. Nah. Yeah.
I forgot. I forgot what dude it is, but he's like interviewing Australians. He's like,
Yeah,
now, how to speak Australian? Say no. She goes,
yeah.
no, like that. He's like,
No,
it's like no, no.
they can't do it. They
So,
can't do it.
like I'm saying no, you're saying no.
No, Naur.
Yeah,
No.
no.
And we're doing a bad job of it because when they say it, it sounds like a whole nother word, and it's hard to make that sound. No, no, no,
That whole
no.
thing, like their whole language is tough. Like if a person from, I don't care where you're from, really, I was gonna say from America, if you can master that, like acting wise, man, you've really done something. I'll say that.
Well, there's all of that, but you got to realize something that is really important for anyone who wants to try acting. All they really want is you truthfully present in a fake made up situation, right? So you could conceivably not even try acting, just read the words as if you were really in whatever the scenario is that the scene takes place in, and you're saying it. Like it's for instance, let's say you get a role and you're like a cashier, and you're like, "Oh, hey, how you doing today? Yeah, the cash or charge. Great. Do you know how many bags do you need? Okay, have a good day." Right? Like that would be not acting, right? That's acting, but that's just doing it. Versus like, "Hey, how you doing today?" Like, "Whoa, what are you doing there, guy? Paper or plastic?" You're like, "Why are you acting? Like you
Yeah.
should just be."
Why are you so shot out of a cannon all of a sudden? Just calm down, buddy.
Yeah, yeah. So a lot of times, like people think acting is doing something when acting is doing nothing more than you would normally do. And so
I
if
got
you're a
you.
cashier and it's your first day as a cashier, you might be like, "Hey, how you doing? Thanks for coming in," because you're new. But if you've been there for 20 years, you're like, "Hey," like you just don't care. Like you don't care because you've been there,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, there's also a difference between a 7 o'clock attitude and a 3 o'clock attitude too. You get
Yeah.
to work. Hey, good morning, everybody. How y'all doing? All right, let me get you going here. And then by 3 o'clock, you're just like, come on, come on, come on, let's go, let's go. I gotta go.
Yeah,
Come
let's
on,
get
man. It's like two
let's get
fifty-eight. We gotta go, y'all.
yeah, we gotta bounce.
Yeah, come on, come on, come on. Clock's
So
ticking,
even
clock's
that
ticking.
matters. Like what time of day is this?
Yeah,
What did I just get done? Like, did I just come off of my shift lunch? And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm full. I'm like easygoing, or do I want to get out of here because I got to pick my kid up at 3:15? And you just rolled up with a cart full of $200 worth of shit. You know what I
right.
mean? Like now I can't close register. Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. And you'll see people do that. They'll flip off their light, and you'll see people turn like right towards them, and they'll be like, and
Yep.
they'll still check them out every single time. Well, I don't know. I've seen a couple dudes just be like, look, I just turned my light off. All right, I go to another one. I don't know what to tell you. Go
Yep.
to another one. You literally saw me turn my light off, and you come over here and like pushed your shit over and started, unloading it onto the belt.
Yeah. Well, that's
I would
why
just
it's
sound like two old
important.
men griping about shit.
But that's acting. Right? That would be acting in that scene. And you would go, "Okay, well, what's the character? When is the character? What's the scene look like? Who's the character I'm playing talking to? What's their relationship? What time of day is it?" And all of that stuff informs you really on how your behavior would be most truthful. And you see, I didn't say how your acting would be correct. It's not that. It's just what's most truthful. And, you know, facts are objective, but what people think truth is may or may not be true, right? That could be subjective. So, like, at 3 o'clock, you're gonna behave differently than you do at 8:30. They're both true, it's just which one's more true at the moment.
Right.
So, that's what you're trying to search for is the truth as it relates to you. And I've been in scenarios on camera where, you know, like, for instance, I've done jobs where I'm playing an amputee character in a couple episodes of a show, And like the director's like, "Oh, that was a great take, Kurt, but can when you come in this time, could you limp more? Could you like show the leg it more?" And I go,
Hmm.
"Why?" And they're like, "Well, we want to show that the character is still struggling, and everything else." And I go, "Well, how long's he been an amputee?" And they're like, it's probably like 10 years." I go, "Well, then he's fine." And they're like, "Oh, yeah, but we really want." And I'm like, "I know what you want, but that's not the truth."
Yeah, we're not limping after 10 years.
Yeah. Like, and if I said, "Well, was my character out for a hike?" And we showed that you know, in the stuff we already shot, and so his leg's a little sore, and that's why he's a little limpy. Okay,
Hmm.
but you just want it for sympathy? Well, go fuck yourself. Right? Like, and
Yeah.
that's when you have to be like, "No, that's not the truth. And if you don't like me, then fire me." So,
Okay. Right on.
you're
Yeah.
trying to
See.
find what the truth is.
Yeah, I got you. And I would definitely have a hard time as far as swallowing my pride, so to speak. Um, I'm one of those always question why kind of people, and even in
Sure.
that scenario, it could be millions and millions of dollars on the table, and I'm still going to be like, just like yourself, it's like, well, why? Like, it doesn't make sense, after 10 years of being an
Yeah.
amputee, like you said, unless you've been beating the hell out of your leg all day, there's not one single person out there. Well, I mean, I guess there'd be a couple, but that means you have something going on with your leg or something like that that's out
Right, but
here
look, those
seriously
characters, like,
limping.
for instance, like, they said that to me, and I was a former Navy SEAL. That dude ain't complaining about shit.
No.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's
No.
like if my character's a little bitch and was like, "Oh, I lost my leg. It's been 10 years." Yeah, maybe he's a little limpy and like fine, fine. We all know those guys. You're like,
Yeah.
all right. But like that's not the characters I was playing. And it's not like
Oh yeah.
it's not like, "Oh, Kurt, in the next scene, we rewrote it, and your character's gonna take his leg off, and you've got an ingrown hair, and so that's why it's really hurting." I'm like, "Oh, well, that makes sense. Yeah, let's do that." But you're not wanting it for those reasons. You're wanting it to, like, show sympathy, to make your other character feel bad for my character, which makes the audience feel for him. And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, but that's not true." Like and I was a little bold in my words on one set one time when they were like, "Well, we really want you to do this." And I go, "Let me just put it this way. You and all of the producers together, if me and all of them fought together, I'd beat the shit out of all of you. So let's just start with that assumption about like where this Navy SEAL one-legged dude is. Like
Yeah.
that guy should be able to beat the shit out of me, Kurt Yeager. So he ain't gonna be a baby about this. So, if Kurt Yeager can beat all you up, the character could definitely beat up everybody. So, like, let's not make it a sympathy play. I hate that shit so much.
Well, just go home and like paint, get some of your old parts and paint them all like hot pink. And I'm talking like the brightest hot pink you can possibly find, or electric blue or lime green. Not lime green, because then it would go like a green screen. But and then show up the next day and just be like, now we're going to get noticed. Hell yeah.
Yeah,
Now you want me to limp? You want me to how you want me to do this? You want me to lead in with this leg like I walk sideways? Let's do it.
yeah. I
Like
I
really
mean,
play into it.
I'd say like in the beginning of the career, I definitely was like, okay, like I was like, you're still learning to stand up for yourself. So at this point now, I just go, nah, I'm not gonna do that. And I
Yeah.
don't even, like, argue, I don't even, like, try now to discuss it. They're like, "Hey, Kurt, what do you think about doing this?" I go, "No, that's not true." And I'll throw in the word like, "No, that's ableism, you don't want that." And I just shut them
You're
down, like,
right.
I'm saying no, and I'm saying there's no with no discussion, "No, that just doesn't work." And you just look at
Yeah.
them like, now it's not that's just the strongest position where you're just, like, saying, "No."
Yeah.
What do they
That's
say
just
to
like
that?
directly you
Nothing.
said. It's like standing on business. You have to.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Um, something that I was curious about, and I'm sure everybody and their mother is curious about, and I'm sure it works different for everybody. And I don't need to know you personally, because that's your personal business. But how do actors like? Well, basically, we'll just say it. How do actors get paid? Do they have to like? Do you complete a job and then just basically have to wait for it to come out, and then wait and see how it does? Or and I would imagine like day actors and stuff, you get your pay and you go to the house. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking like upper tier kind of stuff.
Yeah.
How does that work?
There, there's all contract negotiations with you and your management and agency team, and they negotiate with the casting director and the production. If it's a union project, there are union minimums that are like guarantees that you'll get paid. And for
Okay.
people like me, we can negotiate higher rates because we've done enough. So we can negotiate above that. And that's just all negotiation. So, like, for instance, you know, when I would do a feature film, let's say in another state, uh, SAG minimum is it's first class tickets no matter what if it's over 300 miles or something like that. So I don't even have to
Okay.
negotiate getting first class. So, okay, I get first class. That's nice. And then the hotel has to be a certain standard because that's the minimum. But let's just say I was gonna be out there for like 2 months, and I was like, "Hey, I don't wanna be in a hotel for 2 months. Can we find like a Airbnb, like a little house somewhere that's the same cost, same I'm not asking for more, just something different." And they're like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, let's put that in the contract." And then I'm like, also, I prefer to drive myself to and from set, like, I don't wanna be picked up, so have a rental car there for me. And,
Okay.
and then I say, "Okay, what's the budget for per diem?" And I usually go, "Okay, well, if you want me to be in shape and have my clothes off for scenes, then you need to give me a higher budget because I need to eat higher end meat and like veggies and stuff. I can't just eat like regular food as much. I can't, and you also can't go out to dinner if you're leaning up that much because you can't consume
Gotcha.
like salt and all this stuff. So your diet is more expensive, and it's not going to be on you if they want your shirt off. And then you get paid, based on the completed contract. Um, and in film and in television, you usually get paid, within a couple of weeks of the last following week. So let's say I film Monday through Friday, then it goes to the production company, and they cut checks once a week, but it takes like 2, 3 weeks for them to account for that, get it signed off, approve the budget. Yep, that's what Kurt's getting paid for that week. Then they cut a check, that
Gotcha.
goes to their whatever department, and then it gets sent to me. Now it might take 3 weeks. So I might be working for 2 or 3 weeks before I see my first paycheck, but then I keep working another like 5 weeks, and I keep getting paid and paid and paid. And then at the end, I'm getting 3 or 4 more checks to make up for those couple of weeks that I didn't see any pay. Um,
I see.
and
Okay.
then yeah, so it's kinda like a contract job, just like anything else, you know? Um, you don't get paid up front like a contractor, where you get paid like, let's say 20% down of like a house up front because you
Mm-hmm.
need some of the
That's
money.
that's how it was with tile with us, which two different
Yeah,
worlds,
yeah,
but with
yeah,
us, like, okay, Kurt, I'm gonna come over and we're gonna set your backsplash. Well,
yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah,
need
yeah.
X amount of dollars or X amount of percentage down, and that's gonna allow me to, go get materials, that kind of stuff, so I can
Yeah,
get
you're
the
at least you're
job
not gonna
going.
eat that. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
So,
If you
there's
already
that, and then
obviously,
and then you get things also called residuals, so you get, money every time the thing airs. So you get a certain percentage of it when it airs, and that's kind of like they're reusing your image, reusing your face, reusing your performance, and they're making money off of it, so you get to make money off it too.
I was wondering about that because I mean it's gonna be a repeat performance, not a one and done kind of
Yeah,
thing.
but it's
So
also not at the same rate. Like it's a lot less. So, like, let's say on, for instance, if I did Dr. Odyssey, right, and I do 2 episodes, and they paid me for those episodes, and then they aired. Well, that was part of the payment of those episodes. Now, it's the first season of Dr. Odyssey, and let's say Dr. Odyssey is successful and runs for, like, 2 or 3 more years. Well, they're gonna show reruns of those episodes of mine several times, and I'll get paid 50% when it airs again, and then I'll get paid like 30% when it airs a third time and like 10% when it airs a fifth time. Something like that. Like it's a diminishing
Gotcha.
return, but you still get a little piece of it. But it's because they're getting a diminishing return by airing it again and again and again.
Nice.
Um,
Okay. That's what I say. You don't have to tell your own person. That's
no,
don't
yeah, I
think
don't
I
give
get
a
into that,
fuck.
but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm just
No,
mean
I
like
make,
a person. Period. Like
yeah,
say
yeah, yeah.
me, Josh. I'm gonna go get into acting. All right. I'm done with my first acting gig. Like paying gig.
Mhm, mhm.
Now what? They just be like, all
Well,
right, have a good
that's the
one. I'm like,
like
well,
union,
where's
yeah,
my
new
money?
union and non-union. Non-union, it's like the Wild West. It's just like anything else. You'll get paid when you get paid. It could be 60 days, you
Really?
know? Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. So if you're waiting 60 days for your $40.
Yeah, exactly. You know?
Hey, whatever, man. But I mean, you're in it, so I mean, I guess it is what it is. My friend Gavin, who we was talking about earlier, he's in the new Trailer Park Boys movie. He got
Mm.
picked to be, well, he knows those guys really, really well, and
Yeah.
he lives there in Nova Scotia with all of them, and so he got to be in the movie, but he's just a security guard. It's a non-talking role, anything like that, but he got to be in it, and he was like, man. I don't think he got paid anything, but just to be on the set and everything, and to
Mm.
just he was like it was so cool just to be simply told what to do and have the boys be like all right get over there now because those dudes are actually running the show as well as acting in it
Yeah.
so they're the producers directors everything and the actors
Yeah. Yeah.
so I mean Mike Clattenburg's doing all that kind of stuff but at the same time they're the ones that are like still running the show. It's their productions. I mean, the Trailer
Yeah.
Park Boys are three dudes, and it's still just those guys that run it now.
Yeah.
That would be fucking impossible, I think. But hey, they make it work, so whatever. Um,
It's doable, but it's hard. It's a lot of work. Like if everyone could do it, everyone would do it. But it's really hard. It's
yeah,
really hard because it's like we could all play basketball, we could all play baseball, we could all play football, but being a pro, it's not about going out and throwing the ball and being able to catch it, right? It's about knowing every single play, having every single thing done, every day doing it in and out, knowing every opponent you're playing, being the best, rallying the team together, doing interviews, juggling your home life, traveling, like all of that becomes like why it's hard. It's
yeah,
not just, it's not just, oh, I acted one day. That was easy. It's like, no, when I'm in New York for 6 months and I wanna come home and it's very difficult. My wife's like, "Hey, can I come out?" I can't. I'm just so slammed right now. I got two paying jobs and I'm on 2 different shows at the same time and, I'm working 6.5 days a week, 12 to 14 hours a day, and I'm trying to stay healthy. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
that's when the rubber hits the
So
road.
wait, you've done two at the same like you will
Yeah.
work on multiple shows at the same time. Oh my god! Like how the hell
Yeah,
do you do
that's
that
hard.
and like keep them separate?
It's hard. It's hard. I did Tell Me a Story on CBS and The Village on NBC at the same time, and I was going back and
Holy
forth.
shit,
So I was
dog!
working like 4 days a week on one show and 3.5 days a week on the other show, and I was like, like it was like I was probably was 14. I was probably close to like 85, 90 hours a week, like for like 6 months. Like, it was rough. You know, that's where you're like, I don't even know. Like, you get a day off on the weekend. You're like, oh, I got a day off. But it's not every time you go. Like, so imagine I'm on set performing, and I
Hmm.
have 6 pages of dialogue that I'm performing. I'm also thinking about tomorrow, the dialogue I have to memorize for tomorrow's day during the day that I'm performing the 6 pages that I'm having to perform. And
That's what I
so,
mean. Yeah.
yeah, so
Oh,
I'm
oh my
like,
God.
action, say the line, say the line, say the line, cut. Let's do another one. Say the line, say the line, cut. Say the line, say the line, cut. Let's do the reverse. Da, da, da. All right, Kurt, we're gonna give you 10 minutes. Da, da. You're like, cool. Let me go ahead and read the sides for tomorrow. Let me start learning this. They're like, yeah, patting your makeup. You're like, yeah, uh-huh. Yeah, okay, yeah. Oh, sure. We gotta change the shirt for the next scene. Okay, let me change the shirt while I'm reading this. Yeah. No, I don't think it was this shirt, guys. I think it was the blue one. Wasn't it the blue one? Yeah, see? No, it's totally blue one. All right. Shit, what is this line? I don't even know what this word means. Let me look up this word. Okay, you need me back on set? All right, I'll be back. That's what it's like, just fucking all day long.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of you actors, man, you guys got it so easy. Y'all just, I mean, you're paid all this money and just you just simply they say action and you guys just do your little acting play.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Come on, give it a shot, man. Give it a shot, punk. Let me see what you got.
Yeah, I mean, look,
Yeah, there.
there are definitely easier gigs and easier days, but
I'm
when it's
sure,
not
yeah.
easy, it's not easy, it can be brutal. Like the TV show Alert I did, I shot for
Mhm.
only 8 days, but that meant I had to travel for each day on the backside of that, so there's 10 days, and every day I had 8 pages of dialogue. So I had to memorize, 60 some odd pages of dialogue and was just in almost every scene. And it's great, but whew, you know, it's a lot. And then you're expected to be like a monkey and dance, dance, monkey, dance, like go, go,
Yeah.
like, and then talk about accents. I remember I did this one accent because the character is like from Louisiana, and so I wanted to put on a little bit of a Cajun kind of thing, a little just a little Cajun thing, and just had a little bit of this thing. Didn't quite, but I worked on it for like 2 months before I went in and shot that. Shot my very first scene, did one take, and the showrunner came to me, Kurt, fucking love it, but drop the accent. And so I was like, "Okay," and go. And it's like you had to redo everything in your mind in real time right then. And if you can't
That's,
fucking pull it together, they'll let you go.
and now you
Like
keep
it
wanting to go back to it over and over and over.
yeah. I was like, "Well," and I didn't even drop all of it. I'm like, "Yeah, I don't buy it." Like, I'll drop most of it, but I'm not gonna drop all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome, man. Um, yeah, I could see how it would definitely. Again, I could never in a million years take on two things like that where you have to memorize so many lines and then,
I think you
literally the
could.
next day you're
Everyone
working
can,
on
man.
something completely different.
I'm nothing special, man. I grew up a regular fucking dude, barely graduated high school, like da 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 da. Like so, you know what I mean? Like not because I was an idiot, because I just didn't fucking care at school. Like I did not care at all. I was like, I don't care. Give me your test. I hear it. C C C C C C. Neat. I'm done. I don't care. I don't care. I don't want to be here. Right. So like,
Abaca,
I'm nothing
abaca,
special,
abaca,
man.
abaca.
Yeah, 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 right? Like, you're like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, I don't care." Even, like, the proficiency test to get out of school, I was like, "Whatever," and it failed, and I'm like, "Okay, now I gotta take this to get out of the school." Like, I did not care about high school at all, so I didn't come from nothing special, and, I think anyone can do this, truly. Like, it's
I
a
like this
lot
right
of work,
here.
don't get me wrong, but anyone can do it, if you just put your mind to it.
Doing film slash TV is the toughest sport. You have to work at least 12 hours a day. My longest day was 38 hours when I was in my 30s. Good lord. Good lord. Yeah, see, give it up to you guys, man, because that's oof.
It can be
And I
rough.
mean, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, there's no telling, what the hell you're going to be doing too. Is it a war film? Is it an office film? Is it,
Bro,
whatever? I
I
don't,
had to I
you
had to
know.
be in the water in New Orleans for like 12 hours, and they said that they had like alligator wranglers. There's no alligator wranglers. There's alligators in the water, and that's it. And so I was in the water with a bunch of fucking alligators, and I'm like, bro, I'm already missing one leg. I don't need to be doing this double fucking leg thing.
That's immediately where my head went.
Yeah.
Fucking
So like
great.
I'm like I went they went alligator wrangler. I'm like, there's no fucking alligator wranglers. Like, shut the fuck up, guy. And they're like, yeah, well, maybe we'll just try and keep it safe. And I'm like, try and keep me safe from alligators in the water. It's murky as fuck, and you can't see anything.
Yeah.
So I just did it. I also had leeches on me too. But that was a different story. There's some other
Oh,
stuff that
fuck
happened.
that, dude. No way. No, no, no. Those things creep me the hell out. We've used them for fishing bait before, and they've got out, and they'll get on you. You can see them just kind of going
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like
And then they
across the
grab
skin. It's
on.
like, ugh. Oh God, those little nasty ass little things.
Yeah, yeah.
But they're awesome bait, so I'll give them that.
I dig it.
Well, Kurt, my man, I greatly appreciate you coming on and hanging out with us tonight. Thank you so much for carving out time. Like I said, I know you're super, super busy, and for that, we really do appreciate you.
Yeah,
Um,
man.
I always like hanging out and talking to you. I know we talk all the time, that kind of shit, but when I actually get to sit down and actually chit chat with you, it's always a treat. So,
I dig it, man. Yeah, no, that's one leggers got to stick together. So all you people out there, give me a follow on Instagram, blow my page up, share it with everyone. Say, hey, get if everyone on here let have 5 people follow me, that boosts me up a little bit. That matters not to me. I don't give a fuck. Like I don't care, but it matters to producers, so
yeah,
it'll be helpful.
absolutely. Yeah, all that will be in the description down
Cool,
in below whenever for all this information. I mean, for all this episode. Um, and yeah, like I said, you're more than welcome to share it out, whatever you want to do, like we always
cool.
do, like we always say. But yeah, brother, man, I really, really
Yeah,
appreciate you
brother.
coming on and hanging out with us.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're more than welcome to come back anytime you like. You always know that. You always know you got a home here at the MOL channel. So just hit me up and we can talk about whatever the hell you want. Next time we'll talk about a fucking BMX for an hour. I don't care. I'm down. I'm so down.
Yeah, sounds good to me, man.
Because I've got enough on that we can definitely go an hour, couple hours on that. So,
Yeah, yeah, we do that. I love it. Well, thanks, man,
all
for
right,
having me on.
brother.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, sir. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, take it easy.
All right, bud. All right, man. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. I really, really appreciate y'all coming and hanging out with us tonight. Um, everybody, like I said, this is kind of a newer channel, even though I'm just realizing right across the bottom it says Spotlight on Amputee series, but hey, whatever. Um, yeah, this is kind of a new show that, like I said, we were trying to get going and get off the ground, that kind of deal. And with my baby being on the way, that kind of stuff, you guys have to just kind of bear with us because it's going to be a little bit of a stretch, kind of, wrap up the Spotlight on Amputee series and then trying to get this show off the ground, that kind of thing, because we really do got some really good folks lined up for you guys, some very, very special people. And yeah, yeah, this will be a biggie. We'll say that, but there's a lot of moving parts, a lot of stuff that still has to go into it, and Kurt's going to help us out, and he's got some other ideas, that kind of stuff, and we're definitely going to be doing some more of these, but they'll be coming out little by little. We're not going to have really a filming schedule as far as like every Tuesday or every Thursday. We're going to wrap up the Spotlight on Amputee series, and then from there, we're pretty much going to end it for the rest of the year until, let's see, I guess 2026, and we'll start back up because I'd like to get more, get my daughter, get our family thing going here a little bit more, get us more comfortable, situated, that kind of deal, and then pick back up, later on, and then, carry on with the show. So that is the plan for right now. We're still gonna be putting out videos. We'll still be doing all that stuff. even after baby girl gets here, we'll still be putting out videos with her and that kind of thing. So you guys will still be seeing them. All the motivational stuff you guys see, all the everything that we've been doing in the past, we're still going to be doing here on the channel. This show, I'm very, very, very pleased to announce that this show itself, to sponsor the, with a little help from my friends, we have Fusinli crutches. Fusinli makes forearm crutches, underarm crutches, that kind of stuff. And they have sent me a pair of forearm crutches. They're open face crutches. And they've sent me a pair to test out on the channel, that kind of stuff. And so that video will be coming soon. Um, so yeah, so thank you very much, Pusinli, for hanging out with us and just being an awesome sponsor to the channel. We greatly appreciate you. Yeah, with that, I want to thank everybody for coming. Miss Christy Yant, Miss Creeker Savannah, good seeing you. Let me see, Pigeon Mac, good seeing you. Freaking, my brother. Let's see here. Jeff Bice, my brother. Carolina Cowboy, good seeing you. Backwoods 3030, good seeing you. Let's see. Let me see. Scrolling down, scrolling down. Miss Kim Mousley, hello, my dear. Let's see. Going on down a little bit. Little Main Diver, good seeing you, brother. How you doing? Maga Red, always good seeing you. And The Reckoning, my brother, good seeing you. Trolling for Jesus, always good seeing you. Little Mama Payday, how you doing, dear? Hans Miller, thank you for coming and hanging out with us. I greatly appreciate you being here. Sean Daughtery, good seeing you. Miss Blue Eyes, hello, my dear, good seeing you. Thank you for being here. Chance C, how you doing, brother? All right, I think that's got everybody. Yeah, we're back at the bottom. All right, so thank you guys for coming again. Thank you guys for just being a part of this. Like I said, I know I'm kind of repeating myself, and I don't really care. So it's my show. I'm gonna say whatever I want. So again, with that, I want everybody to stay happy, safe, sane, motivated. Don't look back. Don't give a crap what anybody else says about you, because at the end of the day, it don't matter. We'll see you next time.